mountain, and I have stumbled down the other side. I've been tempted, tried and troubled, but come early morning I'll be home and satisfied. She give me a little loving, give me a little sunshine, make me have a good time, Lord, when I'm feeling blue. I couldn't refuse her, well, I couldn't misuse her. Come early morning, I'll be home with my honeydew. I have drifted up across the mountain, and I have stumbled down the other side. I've been tempted, tried and troubled. Come early morning, I'll be home and satisfied. Come early morning, I'll be home and satisfied.
Man, that one fit your voice, I have to tell you. So
Yeah,
I miss my friend Erin Keating tonight. Do you miss her?
Yeah, what's she doing tonight?
She's on vacation. I mean,
Okay.
you know, everybody gets a vacation except me. I'm going to go on vacation. I'll still be doing Soul Cafe.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
I know.
But hey, I want to talk about something that people can hear about. So you were involved with me last week in a funeral.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so I got to tell you, I've done a bunch of funerals since COVID started, and they all just felt wacky and weird, and they just didn't feel right.
Mhm.
That was a beautiful service.
It was beautiful.
It was. Did you
Yeah.
feel blessed to be there?
I did. Yeah, it was. You know, I've developed my. You know, I guess. Well, what are you? Does it ever happen to you when you're watching something on TV, a movie or something like that,
Mhm.
and you see a scene, and then your brain has this weird reaction, like, why are they standing so close together, and they're not even wearing masks? So I had that weird kind of like internal conflict.
Yeah,
going
but
on
I mean,
because there were so many people, but
we
it
were
was
out.
beautiful.
We were outdoors. Most people were wearing masks, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Almost all, but we were outdoors, and it was a beautiful morning. We were out under all these trees, and it just something about that. It felt like that we adapted somehow, and it became something kind of cool. And I felt like it was something a few hundred years ago somehow. Like,
Right. You
know?
see pictures of
Yeah.
or you know old TV shows of people all standing around the grave, you know, singing hymns and stuff.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. You did a good job, by the way, leading the
Thanks.
hymns.
Thanks.
And you gave us a piece of your vacation. That was generous.
Well, you know, we were all ready to go pretty much, so we just jumped in the truck and headed out, and we went down to Belle Isle State Park. And I think when we talked about it, you said, "Man, it gets hot down there."
It does, and
You were right.
mosquitoes, and mosquitoes,
Mosquitoes. And
lots of mosquitoes.
we did hope to try to swim, but we realized that there are also just tons of jellyfish down there.
Tons of jellyfish in the
Yeah.
bay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up camping. So if you want to know about camping stuff in Virginia and surrounding areas, I can tell you all about it. And
Yeah.
I haven't camped in a while because my wife, not going to happen.
Nope.
No,
Not a camper.
But what you have the
Everybody is.
RV. You've got the moving house. So it's different,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, you have air conditioning. That's just
huge. At
and
night,
your own bathroom, right?
when you're sleeping,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's big.
Got it.
All right.
Got it.
What's the sad one? I'm geared up.
All right. This last one is you know, folks who have heard me play know that I'm a huge fan of Gillian Welch. She's one of my favorites. Top 5, I'd say. Songwriters, musicians, etc. She's amazing. So this is just another song from her first album that they released in like '96 or something like that. So this one's called One More Dollar. A long time ago, I left my home for a job in the fruit trees. But But I miss those hills with the windy pines, for their songs seem to suit me. So I sent my wages to my home and then said we'd soon be together. For the next good crop would pay my way, and I would come home forever. One more dime to show for my day, one more dollar, and I'm on my way. When I reach those hills, boys, I'll never roam. One more dollar, and I'm going home. No work, said the boss at the bunkhouse door. There's a freeze on the branches. So when the dice came out at the bar, I rolled and took my chances. One more dime to show for my day, one more dollar, and I'm on my way. When I reach those hills, boys, I'll never roam. For one more dollar, and I'm going home. Well, a long time ago, I left my home, just a boy passing 20. Could you spare a coin and a Christian prayer, for my luck has turned against me? For one more dime to show for my day, one more dollar, and I'm on my way. When I reach those hills, boys, I'll never roam. For one more dollar, and I'm going home. One more dime to show for my day, one more dollar, and I'm on my way. When I reach those hills, boys, I'll never roam. For one more dollar, and I'm going home. One more dollar, and I'm going home.
Good stuff, man. It's a good
Yeah.
song. I like those songs. I didn't even know either one of them. So
Yeah,
that never happens. But
the worship band always jokes that I always play esoteric country music or obscure country music.
what I don't even know what that is. What is esoteric country music? I don't
know. That doesn't really make sense. Let's say obscure country music.
obscure stuff that comes from lesser known artists.
Exactly.
Right?
The
Right.
opposite of mainstream Nashville. The opposite of that.
Hey man, you want to say hi to Greg Lower before
Yeah.
you go? Yeah. So Greg's gonna
I'd
be
love to, yeah.
he's gonna kind of be
miss
my
Greg.
co-host tonight. Well, I miss Greg too. Well, actually, I see Greg. I miss you more than I see you too. I see you when we're when we're doing Sunday stuff. But there's a lot of people I miss, and there's
Yeah,
some
that's right.
people on the screen tonight that I just haven't been close to in a while.
Yeah.
This is hard. It's getting harder for me.
I miss playing guitar while Greg's playing harmonica. Some of the songs that we've done together, man, those are the best.
Look, he's got it.
He's got it right now.
We
can't
he's
hear
muted.
it, though.
He's muted. We can't hear it, but he's got it. So I think it's hard to sync up in these. But maybe we'll make it happen at some point. We'll make Greg and you pray something together. We'll do that we'll have to do it in advance. You have to sort of line it up.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking, we were talking to the staff this week, and I'm like, summer's been summer, so it's kind of okay. But you get to fall, you start looking at the calendar, and you think about what you're used to. It's going to be really weird and different.
I know it is.
Yeah. but we're
Yeah,
going to
for
make it
sure.
work.
We will.
All right,
Aaron,
brother.
good to see you, man.
It's
You're
great to
great.
see you too, Greg.
He's
Blessings to Mandy and the boys.
that's the heart and soul of
Thank
Soul
you.
Cafe right there. All right,
I
man.
don't know about that.
This has been fun. Thanks, brother. Take care.
Thank you guys. Take care.
So, Greg, I thought it would be interesting, and a lot of people have been asking about you spend yourself in the COVID era. So, how it's changed, or we're maybe not hearing as much. I might need to work on that, but spend yourself goes on in every way. So, I thought it'd be fun to have you and a big gang of people who are doing local spend yourself talk about what's happening. But before we get to the local stuff, let's talk about Haiti and other possibilities. So, tell us about what's happening.
Great to be with you, Jim, and everybody else. When we started Spin Yourself in 2008, it really continued the Columbia heart for missions, near and far. Some churches focus only on one or the other, but Columbia is always focused on near and far, and the four concentric circles of the Great Commission, as you taught and emphasized: Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, the ends of the earth. And so we have then been in Haiti now since 2010. Actually, we committed a partnership with World Vision Haiti 2 months before the great earthquake. So in 2009, the whole congregation. And so thus it began. The projects in Saban Plot went really well. It really became a model, more than we could expect, imagine, really. And so then a year and a half ago, actually the people of Saban Plot said, "Thank you, Columbia. Thank you so much. You have helped us. Now our minds are open. We have plans for the future. We got this. Go and help our neighbors next door." So 5 miles away is another community called La Beg. And we began a partnership with World Vision to support same kind of development projects there. Wells, latrines. We're not sure if it'll be a sugar mill, maybe a corn grinding mill, and other kinds of things that they need for agriculture to raise their own food. They can grow 20 different things to feed their families. But a cash crop is good so they can buy clothes and shoes and all. It's really hard in Haiti right now.
Yeah. So, Greg, it was tough before. Last time we were there, we barely got out sort of by the skin of our teeth because they were having some difficulties before, but COVID has hit Haiti pretty bad. Yeah.
So COVID coupled with the civil unrest, the violence, there's always political things going on. And so we just haven't been able to make a trip. This is our second year without going.
It's strange.
Yeah. But World Vision Haiti staff, they're amazing. They still are able to do some things. So in that community of La Beg, they have overseen the construction, I believe, about 100 latrines. And that may not seem very glamorous. I mean, they're building outhouses, but that goes a long way to promoting hygiene in the community, that and clean drinking water wells. So we've reached out to them. I've communicated with World Vision Haiti director. Her name is Julie Lee, fine leader, and her staff, many of which we've known for a long time, like Guy and Fedora and Emanuela, others. So they're continuing the work, but sometimes it's really tough for them.
So, Greg, we said Haiti's the poorest country in our hemisphere, and so that's why we attended it. And we've said, if we could multiply churches, and we have some other churches in the game now that we've pulled in that have followed our lead. We could radically change Haiti. It's not an enormous country; it's just a poor country. So we could make a big difference here. So, I don't think I'm quite as far along as I hoped we would be. There've been some setbacks along the way, but we're doing great work there, and it still is held up as a model.
It really is inspiring and very humbling, gratifying. Just grateful to be a part of what God is doing there. As we began to think over a year ago, what does God want us to do next?
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to partner with World Vision Zambia. One of our own Colombians, John Hassey, is national director there.
So he was national director in Haiti, and they moved him to Zambia. And we're looking for our I don't want to say replacement, but the India project we were forced to fold that up. So we sort of started looking for our ends of the earth again, and Zambia really appeared as a possibility.
It makes sense there in the southern part of Africa. Uh, a year ago, I wrote to Hassie and said, hey, if we ever did partner with you, what kind of things would you have Colombia fund, knowing our heart for missions and all? And he wrote back a long email, you remember, and a lot of very similar to the approach in Haiti. Wells, latrines, agriculture. One component was added, and that is micro loans for startup businesses, especially for women. They're doing some things now that are very successful. That and a little bit of a twist on child sponsorship. Rather than sending the picture packs to Colombia and having us try to promote that and have families choose, what we'll do is we will enlist all the families or Colombians who want to sponsor a child, get your photo taken. That'll be sent over to Lusaka, Zambia. The pictures will be put up on a wall, and one by one, the children will come in, look over everything and said, I want her to be my sponsor. I want him. I want this family to be my sponsor.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool, although it has taken some time for some of our people to adjust to this notion. But your child is choosing you as a sponsor. So
we've reached out to World. We've asked them for an official proposal, and I expect that any day now, really.
All right, so things are going well. We've got lots of international possibilities, but meanwhile, Greg, I think many of us worried that the local thing would be hard, maybe impossible in COVID, but you guys made it work. So let's bring in some folks to talk about that. You want who? Bruce Barr?
So Bruce Barr and Neil Eckert. So two great leaders. I remember, Jim, back in early March, you sent me a text and you said, your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Well, not like I gave you a choice, but yeah.
But actually what happened a couple of weeks before that, I was talking with Bruce. He's our Spin Yourself Falls Church leader. And we talked and we said, well, let's have a meeting. We need to plan for contingencies and what kinds of things can we do. So Bruce, you remember that meeting when we met with Rachel, our ministry, and with Amy Potosky, our operations manager, and we prayerfully dreamed about what we could still do. Really amazing.
And we were really afraid. How can we do this? So I just said we can't stop. There's no possible way. So Greg, you have to get these leaders together and figure out a way to make it work. And they did. And not only did it survive, but thrived. So tell us about what's happening there now, guys.
Well, we start off, as Greg mentioned, we start off with that plan back in February. I would say about 80% of it is still being executed, but it is changed. Well, but it has changed in some significant ways as we've gotten into the actual COVID situation, and we've had Amy Potosky, our operations leader. She's really taken a look at what we started with and made changes that really have smoothed out the operation, made it even more efficient. So it still has continued to change, but it's gotten better so that we've been able to handle numbers that we would not normally expect to be seeing.
So, Greg, before we go on, you asked me to throw up a couple of polls. You thought it'd be fun to let people guess what our Spend Yourself ministry locally has done here. So Gus Mancuso may be out of town because we don't have an early response here, but you guys can text to Jim Baucom 277 or to 22333. Or better yet, go on to polef.com, Jim Baucom 277, or you can download the app and you can do this every single week. So we're wondering how many requests for the food pantry have been received in year to date. And here are your guesses, or if you know the facts. Neil got it right earlier. I was proud of him. So 4,000, 5,300, 6,200, or 7,500. So you guys jump on and try to figure out how many requests we've had. Do you know this, Bruce? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh, it'd be cheating. I heard Neil say the number earlier.
You already knew. Yeah. So somebody says 7,500. That's a lot. So how many requests for food have been received year to date? And there's a bunch more guesses that are coming up, or and so we'll see what happens. So somebody says 6,200. See, you know how you do these, Greg. You figure that whoever makes the poll is going to choose B or C. I did this in college. Did you? So we'll see. I don't know. All right. So
Well,
carry
it'll
on.
be interesting.
We'll see what they think.
Well, Bruce actually really helped us a year and a half ago, or actually, yeah, more than that. We knew that we were going through a time of transition in the food pantry. Our longtime director was retiring and moving, and we needed to work our way through that transition. So we approached Bruce and said, "Hey, Bruce, would you be willing to give us a year as Spin Yourself Falls Church leader and help guide this whole process, because the food pantry will go through some changes?" And he prayed about it and said yes, and we're very grateful. He's a great leader, understands the logics of things and plan things out. And I hope it's been a good venture for you, Bruce.
Greg, had it been a little longer than a year?
Well, let's see. It was like back in January or January of 2019.
I don't know. I think we're over with the year thing. We got to keep him for as long as we can.
Well, and
I'm putting him on the spot right here on live screen.
Well, Bruce is going to continue above and beyond the call of duty. He's going to serve much longer than a year. He'll serve till the end of this year, and beginning, I guess, right now, Neil is going to be helping Bruce, and I guess Bruce will mentor him through so that come January 1, Neil will be our Falls Church Spin Yourself leader.
So you guys both of you have been involved with the food pantry for way longer than a year. You've both been involved for many years. What prompts you? What motivates you to get involved in the Spin Yourself food pantry?
What motivated me was just kind of, I always liked serving, and food insecurity has always been kind of one of my issues. It was growing up, we didn't have a lot of food either. And so I think I kind of gravitated towards that. And that was a place that I could serve, and just kind of, I thought I had some talents that would fit into the right spots. And so I started when it was still over at 301 in the basement.
Yeah, that's forever ago. Is that 7 years, Greg? 8? 10?
8 years.
Hard to believe.
Close to 9.
Yeah. Yeah. So Neil, it was sort of born in your experience of not having enough food at some point in your life, and you thought you could make a difference there.
Yeah, and I grew up with the people who didn't, and it was just one of those things where it just kind of felt natural for me to do it. And then as I've progressed through, I've been able to do a lot of different aspects through registration, check-in to team lead. So God's just moved me in different spots through the ministry.
So in the COVID era, do you feel like we've been more effective, less effective? It's just continued. What's been the change? Bruce?
Well, I'd say one of the big changes that we made is, of course, we used to, just to give a general description for those who haven't been there, in the pre-COVID era, we did everything inside the Crossroads building. We're really up close with people. We're going through the process. We're sitting down with them, spending time with them, praying with them, holding hands, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, of course, has gone away since about early March. We've had to go to an outside operation. So that's a big change organizationally, or how we do it on a daily basis. So it's, while we can't have that close contact, we're still out there with people. We do try to, we recognize people when they come through. We do get a chance to have a few words with them. So we still have that contact. We are looking forward to the day where we can go back to something where we can spend a little more time with people and can be a little more one-on-one. But everyone understands that, I believe. Everyone understands when we started the outdoor operation, we had to give instructions on staying apart and all that. But now everyone gets it, everyone respects it, everyone understands why we've had to change our operation. So, and that's grateful to see, because everyone understands that we had to adjust how we do things, but we're still there for them every Saturday.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, Greg, we've had a lot of people bring food for different reasons because we can't get everything we want. So we're giving Columbians an opportunity to respond in some way.
And the church has responded really well. I think next we're going to talk to Rachel, our ministry associate for missions, and we'll ask her about how she organizes for these food collections and how else we, where do we get food? Because there's all kinds of ways, and she keeps track of that, ordering, of course, making sure it gets paid. So, hey, Rachel.
Hello.
So Rachel, as we bring you in, let's go back to the poll for a minute because Greg gave me 4 polls, so we got to get through those. So, Greg, these actually have been moving, and people have registered A and B and then changed their answers. So they've been moving constantly. So about 44% say 6,200 requests year to date, and 56% say 7,500 requests. So, Greg, what's the right answer?
D, more than 7,500 requests for food. That's how many times people have come to the food pantry.
That is
and
a
received
lot.
Food. Very grateful.
That's just really a lot. So the question now is, how many pounds of food have we provided so far this year? So you got a lot of choices here: 60,000, 70,000, 350, even 60,000. The lowest answer, I would go, wow, that's a lot. 70,000, 350, 90,000, 400, 127,000, 146,000, 167,000, 185,000. So Columbians, what do you think? Weigh in, and we'll. So somebody says 167. So we'll come back and see what you say. So Rachel, sorry, obtaining food. What's that about these days?
You know what? It's been a journey. We entered into the COVID era thinking, okay, our numbers are going to go up. And if we're going to keep this thing open, we're going to need to spend more money with the Capital Area Food Bank. And so that's what we touted. That's what we promoted. And then we realized very quickly that was not going to happen because they did not have the food.
Mm-hmm.
There's a food supply chain issue in this country that has a lot to do with the manufacturing, the processing, the canning, and it's not the farmers, and it's not retail. It's sandwiched in the middle. And so we found ourselves relying on them for at least 50 to 60% of our food to a 6-week period where we couldn't get anything from them. We were 100% on our own. Had we been on 100% on our own in the beginning, we would probably have not remained open. But God gave us time to figure it out. And so we went to online registries through Target and Amazon. We went to drive and drops, which was great because we actually got to see people and receive food. We had an opportunity to reach out into the community and say, come join us in this. We've been able to source some food online, even through Walmart at one point. We are back to getting food from the Capital Area Food Bank. It was crazy. In mid-July, one day the menu was bare and the next day the menu was full.
Wow.
We actually hadn't been able to get from them since October of last year because they were transitioning to a new inventory system. And they did that at the end of January. But they were getting rid of a lot of inventory so that when they did bring that system back up, they could count it. It was more likely it would be cleaner. It would be more efficient from the get-go. And then they couldn't get food.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just a snowball effect.
So we've had to do, I know this, but we've had to do a real hodgepodge. Even our own kitchen,
Yes.
Doug Cook helping us order
Absolutely.
some things from distributors when we couldn't get it at the grocery store.
No, but now we have a distributor, the same distributor, Skink Food, and they deliver to the pantry every week. Because of the amazing generosity, the donations that have come in, we've had record numbers of donations coming in for any given year for this food pantry. In the last 5 months, we've been able to purchase our produce because we relied on donated produce from Capital Area Food Bank and Food for Others. It's just, it wasn't there. And even now we're like, well, it's great to have donated produce that we have to go pick up on a Friday. And then we hope it's there when we get there on Friday to pick it up to give out on a Saturday. How much will it be? What will it be? What kind of a team are we going to have that can actually bag it and get it ready to being able to say, if we pivot and we don't give out as much of the non-perishable canned food, we can have fresh produce that we can choose so we know it's there, we know we can handle it, and put it into a rotation, and that's exactly what Amy has done. So we're on a 5-week schedule.
Has there been a week that we didn't have what we needed?
There have been weeks that we have had things we wished we had.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been a week where someone showed up and thought, I walked a 1.5 miles to get here. I took 3 buses to get here. I spent $3 in gas to get here. And we've had, and it's never been something where they haven't been, this is exactly what I needed and thank you.
So our people all around have just been resourceful enough to make things come together when it wouldn't work. And I think just it's been the last couple of weeks, things are beginning to get back to some normalcy in terms of our acquisition of food.
They are, and we've been very careful. Amy has been very careful. She handles all the food bank ordering, and so she's been very careful too. She checks it every day.
Yeah, that's great.
And if we need to schedule a week, a delivery for the following week because we're like, oh, that's looking low, then she will certainly do that. And then because therefore an 8-week period, we were just sourcing online for everything we could get our hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we found that Colombians were much more willing and able to give us their time instead of saying, can you come to the church and help us move this truckload of food over to the food pantry? Just saying, if I ordered 4 dozen boxes of cereal and it got sent to your house, could you drop it off at the pantry on a Saturday between 10 and 10:30?
Did that happen at your house? 4 dozen boxes? Did that
I'm not
happen?
joking that's how we've made it.
Yeah,
we
Rachel's
did it
had
with pasta. We did it with pasta sauce. We've ordered peanut butter, canned fruit, beans, rice, everything I could get my hands on.
Wow.
And we have a chain of about 10 to 12 families or households that we reach out to every week and say, are you up for dropping it off? And people are like, absolutely. And so we'll never stray from that. Curbside pickup, people willing to do that. They don't have to get out of their car and either, when they get to the food pantry either, because the volunteers are already there. And so we figured out some things that we will continue to do because that's what happens, right? Sometimes the rug gets pulled out from underneath you and it makes you say, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to pivot and it's time to really dig deep. And God showed us some things. The stories are just amazing from people.
Rachel, what was one of the nice surprises you encountered regarding fresh produce?
So many nice surprises, I guess, regarding fresh produce. But what we have found is that we are much more attractive to nonprofits such as Rotary clubs who like to give us money because they are excited about the fact that we are putting fresh produce into the hands of people who perhaps either are food deserts do exist in Fairfax County, can't exactly get to the grocery store to get it, or just don't have the funds to be able to do it because they're making choices every day.
Well, and by the way, I think people don't think
great.
about this, but our overhead is so small compared to what even a big nonprofit that handles this normally.
Absolutely.
For the church, it's almost no overhead. We have volunteer labor. People give a lot of food. And so when somebody gives you money, it goes straight to the clients. It's pretty incredible.
It absolutely does. And then even to be able to do things, again, I believe that Amy has set up and she and her team just have a way that our core pack of food looks different. There's a couple of items that we would like to put in there every week that unfortunately are just hard to get. And that's okay because we are a supplemental food pantry. And as long as we keep our eye on that and remember that God wants us to provide this food and people very much need it. But in Fairfax County, if we don't have a bag of rice to give, it's going to be okay. Because there are other ways and there are other sources for people to get what they need. And
So
we are a piece to that puzzle.
I would take it from what you just said that if people can find a bag of rice, we'd love to have it.
Oh, yeah,
That's
we
right.
will take
right.
it.
Rice, beans, those
Rachel-
sorts of
Fried
things.
beans, no salt added beans, no salt added canned corn and diced tomatoes, box crackers. We'll take them all.
So let's
Rachel
see.
also knows that a number of volunteers also have contributed financially, and some of them
It's amazing.
in large amounts.
No, we've had
volunteers.
some huge gifts.
Huge.
Yeah, and some volunteers
Huge.
too.
To do things that we're going to need to accomplish that are, we need a new upright freezer. We're going to work with Jim Wood to see if we can, find one, but because we need to be able to have more capacity. And because people are generous, we can do that. And that enables us to have more frozen meat on hand at any given time.
Yeah, and
So
our
that's
people have
great.
been so generous.
Oh gosh. Huge.
So this poll has been moving constantly, just so you guys know. Greg, about 10% say 127,000 pounds so far this year. About 30%
Well,
say 146,000 pounds, and about 50% say 167,000 pounds. So that must be the right answer.
It is
And
actually,
about 10% say 185,000 pounds.
and that is the correct answer.
185,000 pounds.
Right. Really,
Just,
really
Amazing to
impressive.
think. They're changing their answers now. But actually, Les got it right after you said that. So no, it's 185,000 pounds year to date. That's pretty incredible.
So by the end of the year, it'll be over 300.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Well over.
There
Well
have been
over.
some years when we had around 350.
All right.
It just depends.
All right, so let's move people to the next one here because Greg, I got to keep moving through your polls.
Yeah, yeah.
How much
Here we go.
fresh food have we provided to our clients since April? So this is not canned, not boxed. This is just fresh produce.
This is potatoes and apples and carrots and onions.
And the like. So 4,200 pounds, 9,700, 11,400, 14,800. We got 11,400 vote. 14,800, 17,000, or 19,250. So we'll come back to that after people have had a chance to respond. You guys who want to we had way more responses to the second poll, so we'll let people jump on here. Rachel, have you responded yet?
No,
Okay.
that's not
No,
fair.
Amy told me, so I know.
All right. Well, fair
Well,
game to anyone who's not on the program, right?
Right.
So, Greg, who else should we bring in at this
All
point?
right.
We got a lot more people.
Speaking of fresh produce, let's bring in Jacob Stevens. He's our new garden guy, our garden coordinator. He's off to a great start, doing some things. Hey, Jacob, thanks for being here and for everything you're doing. What'd you do today? You're muted.
He muted. That's what he did. I'll ask him to unmute.
So what did you do today?
Is that good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
You know, in the garden, you don't have to worry about such things.
It's true. No. Today, just had to meet we've been reaching out. Rachel's been really helpful with this to Eagle Scouts in the area who need Eagle Scout projects because they still need it, even though COVID is here. So we've been reaching out to them, and we have two of them working on stuff now. So today, I'm going to get these confused now, but one of them was here working on new garden boxes. So if you've seen the garden boxes, you've seen the garden boxes.
I think
And,
Rachel's got a picture, actually.
do you got
I
it?
sent it
She
to
does.
Greg for
She
screen
does.
share.
She has it. You got a screen share? Oh, Greg's got it. You can all screen share. Okay, Greg, share it.
Yeah. So the old boxes are 4x4, I believe. But we went with a different design after asking Brad, one of the garden guys. He said easier design is a little bit easier to access if it's about 3 feet wide, and we wanted to go a little longer, like 8 feet. And so I don't know if you guys can see it yet. I can't see it yet, but that's what we went with. And now it's good to use a pressure treated wood, safe to use. Originally it was not, but now this should last for a lot longer. The other boxes are rotting apart. They are not pressure treated wood.
So, Jacob, what do you grow in these boxes? So the boxes are exciting, but what all do we grow?
Grow a variety of things. I think that's up for discussion. So like we kind of want to, what do the clients want is kind of the question there a little bit, right? So it's great if I grow tomatoes, but if they don't want tomatoes, then it really does nothing. So it's kind of one of those things like when helping hurts, like what you need best. And so you can grow anything in these boxes. So I made sure to ask the garden people like Brad to how deep does it need to be to grow anything. And so it was at least 18 inches. So we're a little bit over that. So that's what we did there.
And that's Brad Willett.
Yes.
We interviewed him earlier in the year as a master gardener. Hey, Jacob, I will tell you this. I was over there today. Some cucumbers are ready to pick.
Oh, are they?
Roll, so I kept my hands off, even if I did donate that plant.
That's fair.
So, Greg, share your pictures if you got them, because I just made you a co-host.
Well, what I've got is food pantry. I don't have the other.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw that picture earlier. Rachel sent it to me. It was pretty cool. Big boxes.
Yeah, bigger. Well, really longer. And they should hold for one box should replace two.
So, Jacob, why do we need to grow our own food? I mean, clearly Rachel has been able to, and others have been able to figure out how to acquire these things. And so we started this thing from the beginning as a gardening project. Why do we grow our own food?
I mean, really, it saves you money. It's essentially it saves you money. And so we're working on ways to make it more efficient also, so that it can provide for the food pantry.
And some of the clients want to learn and grow their own as well.
Yeah, I think teaching the clients to grow their own vegetables has been a big part of this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did pilot a program. Bruce worked with Louis Sprung, who was our former garden coordinator before he moved back. He and his family moved back to Florida. And we did have one raised bed last year that was a family did it. I mean, a family, they planted it, they harvested, they weeded, they watered, they did all of that. And so the question becomes, where do we go in 2021? Because that wasn't the direction that we were heading. And so if we're able to do that and folks get to own it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Wouldn't you rather own it?
Well, yeah, my original dream was that we sort of someday would have a garden where each family in that. It's not easy to accomplish, but sort of I just thought that would be really amazing if a family could feel like, okay, we got a gift from this church, but we grew some of our own produce. That would be incredible. And then maybe they learn to use a small plot in their backyard. It doesn't take much, or a few pots or something to grow some of what they eat. I think that would be amazing.
And one thing that
go ahead, Bruce.
One thing that also that happens in the garden is that, under normal circumstances anyway, is that when sometimes we'll give opportunities for clients to come by and pick their own, but also pick for other people. So they get to a little bit of involvement in it, not just for themselves, but also helping the other clients as well. So they're picking for themselves, but they also pick items for other people.
Yeah, I think you feel like you have an investment. It's a hand up, not a handout. That was always our goal. So the more investment people have, the better. So here's the thing, Greg, people have been responding to this one more than the others so far. And so 10% say we've provided 9,700 pounds to our clients since April. That's not very long, so I understand that answer. 11,400, 20%. Nobody says 14.8, though somebody responded to that and changed it. I saw it. And then, so 40% say 17,000 pounds and 30% say 19,250.
Well, Amy Pototsky, our operations manager, keeps track of all this because we weigh everything for such purposes as this. And she reported to me yesterday, letter E, 17,000 pounds of fresh produce have been provided since April. That's over the last, say, 30 Saturdays. And people are very grateful for potatoes, carrots, onions, apples, oranges. Those are the things.
Well, this is the first one the majority has gotten right. So that's not a majority, but the most people have gotten right, plurality. That's still 17,000 pounds is just an amazing amount of food. It's just incredible to me. It's astounding. Every time I see these numbers, I think people have gotten used to them, honestly, but it's just an astounding amount of food. So this is the final poll, and we'll get some other people in here. What's the highest number of families we've served in a week this year? And there's an average number too that Greg might want to share. But the answers are possibly 174, 256, 312, 401, or 412. The average number of families, not persons.
The highest number.
I mean, the highest number of families, not persons. Okay. So we'll see what we get here.
All right.
All right. So, Greg, let's bring the rest of our panelists in.
We've got Sharon and Wes Geweer, newer Colombians. They got involved in the food pantry.
They're not that new anymore. I got to tell you.
No, they've been around for a couple of years. But
yeah.
And then David Hicks and Stephen Bass also. But I want to ask Sharon and Wes is, when do they serve and what exactly do they do there?
So we don't have them in yet. They're here. They are. They're logging in.
Okay, here they come.
So yeah,
So very faithful.
And Wes has got the COVID. I got to tell you, I hardly recognized him at first. He just looked completely different. Got the COVID beard going.
I really appreciate Wes and Sharon. They're in my.
It's not much here.
Well, they're a wonderful asset to our Ignition group. And,
it's impressive. It's not Stephen Bass quality, but it's impressive.
So Sharon and Wes, what day do you serve at the food pantry, and what is your job there?
Okay, well, I started. I responded to an ad in the bulletin for more volunteer help from Betsy. So I started as Betsy was on her way out. And I just loved it. I loved doing the work. I loved the people. We had so much fun. Before COVID, we just had a great time together. And I just like doing it. It's just fun.
So we're there on Tuesdays for 2 to 3 hours, and we pack one of the non-perishable bags that the families receive on Saturday. So we pack anywhere from 100 to 125 bags in the 2 to 3 hours.
You guys are the ones who handle all the rice and beans.
That's correct. We have 5 or 6 cans of food, plus rice, beans, ramen noodles, pasta, and that makes up a typical bag, 8 or 9 items each bag.
And there's another team that comes in on Wednesday, and they do the other half of what we do. So altogether, it's around 250 or so.
Up to 250 bags.
Greg, I think this is interesting because a lot of people who talk to me think the pantry's a Friday and Saturday thing. There are people working the pantry every single day of the week. Somebody collects food on Sunday. Mondays, the team starts. It takes a full week to get ready for the number of clients that we serve.
So Wes and Sharon, when you are there, who else is there with you in the food pantry?
Okay, so we're there as a team on our own.
Just the two of you.
We meet briefly with Amy to kick things off. We go over the shopping list. She leaves as soon as possible, and we are there by ourselves, locked in as one household. So no serious chance of cross-contamination.
And that's what we've had to handle differently. We have to sort of separate everybody. Probably not as much fun quite now.
Oh, he's a barrel of fun, yeah.
But not as much fun as getting together with the church family, different members. It's kind of different right now.
Actually, Sharon does the shopping. She takes the cart, pulls everything off the racks, and I do the packing. So we're actually in 2 parts of the
You have an assembly line.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've been more efficient. And I kidded Amy that she was treating us like the Israelites. She was increasing our load, but we were finding ways to be more efficient. So
She's strawing your bricks.
Yeah.
That's right.
So by the time you get there on Tuesday, food like from the drive and drops has already been put on the shelf in the right place by category.
Or in bins
pasta here, beans there.
Yeah.
Right. All the food is available for us to pick. We don't have to pre-organize anything. We just get
because other volunteers have done that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you're there for 2 or 3 hours?
2 to 3 hours, depending on how many items we're packing and how many bags we're packing.
It may interest people to know that the average family receives about 25 pounds of
Yes.
food.
Right.
Each bag is around 7 or 8 pounds. And then sometimes there's a couple of additional items.
So, Greg,
what
I
if you-
assume that David and Stephen do something because we got them in here in the panel. I actually know what they do, but what
thank you,
how do
guys.
they get involved?
They are part of the Saturday teams out there in the parking lot. Stephen, you've been with the food pantry for many years. What's the difference now from what food pantry was 6 months ago?
I mean, the big difference is just the personal connections. So, 6 months ago, we would have time to talk to people. I mean, people would start coming in 7:30, 8 in the morning, and we didn't start giving out food until 9:30. So, we could have conversations with people, figure out what their lives, what they were doing with their lives, and what they needed, and that kind of has, to some extent, gone away. We still have
That's kind of sad,
chances.
isn't it? I mean, that's
Mhm.
hard.
Like the people that we've established, we had already established relationships with, it's kind of easier to maintain those, but we see new people every week that we
Mhm.
don't get the chance to get to know.
David, everything's out in the parking lot now. So what's that like?
Yeah, I think it's different. Like Steven said, I mean, we were used to being inside, and kind of inside was kind of cramped together. But now that we're outside, then we've got plenty of room to spread out and do our social distance. So we've got 2 lines. We've got one for people that have come on foot, our walker line, and then we got a line for people that drive through. So we've got 2 lines working so that we can serve clients that have walked up and the clients that have driven up. And from an efficiency standpoint, I think that Bruce and Amy and everybody that's worked on it's done a great job fixing it so that we can serve all our clients that come in. They seem really happy about it. We do miss that personal interaction, but my job is usually at the end of the line doing the stop and start the cars and getting people in and out to pick up their food, and directing the walking people out after they pick up their food. So, I do get to have some interaction with them then, and it's a great experience. If sometimes it's a little hot, sometimes it's a little wet, sometimes it's a little windy, but it's always great. And not long ago when I was there we worked on July the 4th, and that was one of the days that I was there. And an older gentleman that I'd seen before, then when he drove up, he said, I really didn't believe you'd be open on July the 4th, but I only had 2 cans of food left until Wednesday, and I just prayed that you'd be open, and you were.
That made it worth your while.
And that made it worth everything.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many great
I
stories like
understand.
that. Go ahead.
Some
Greg, I'm
people
sorry.
come a little bit early. Don't they come a little early, some of them? How many come early?
We have them lined up, and all the cars parked in the back row of the parking lot by the time that we're ready to start giving out the food at 9 o'clock. Then we have quite a line.
So let me ask you guys.
Challenges?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
Well,
Challenges.
I was just going to ask Stephen if there are challenges he's seen in the last 5 months. Maybe something strange.
I mean, just crowd control. Whenever you get 100, 150 people driving through a parking lot, you never know which one's going to try to run you over. But I think we've all stayed safe thus far.
Jacob, stop trying to run Stephen over.
It's Neil.
Jacob almost ran me over with a food truck. One day we did a food collection. Not really. I mean, I was like 10 feet in front, but I went, Jacob. He just waved. So here's the thing. So a lot of people who are emailing me and texting me are saying what they miss most about church is the opportunity to volunteer. That surprised me. I thought, we miss worship. So people have told me that, or we miss coming to, meet our groups. But a couple of people have said, I just missed the opportunity to serve. So you all have had that opportunity. And what does it mean to you in a time like this, to take it from the volunteer's perspective? What does it mean to have an outlet like this?
Well, for us, it's the highlight of the week, aside from Sunday services, of course.
Right.
We're able to serve and give back to the community. So we look forward to each week, even though we're behind the scenes, we don't see the clients, but we know that it's a contribution to the community.
It allows you to designate a day, doesn't it? Because I find these days run together. If you don't know there's something special on that day. That's great.
Tuesday, so it is designated, yes.
Yeah. How about the rest of you?
For me, it's a sense of it's been a sense of normalcy, like when COVID and quarantine and things about work were up in the air, you couldn't go in. For me, the constant was I could go help at the pantry on a Saturday or do a pickup delivery and drop something off. Like I still felt like I could do something.
Yeah. How about the rest of you? Jacob, how about working the gardens? Does that provide some sense of course, you have a job, so this is like an aside for you. This is an added thing for you. A lot of you do.
Yeah, I mean, I still work full time. I think for me, it serving, like, I don't know, it anchors me. It's kind of like how, the word anchors me to Christ, but like also serving anchors me to like the church and to like the community. Mm-hmm. And I really like that. And so I don't, even if it's just me, like I get to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So gets me excited. Yeah. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Well, you've been constant for years, volunteering in a lot of ways. So if it gives you a gift, that's, like I said Sunday, it's the boomerang effect. You don't intend to do that, but it comes back to you somehow. Stephen, you've done this for a lot of years. How about you?
I mean, it's the only time I get out of the house at this point. So, it's just a time when, you can do something, you can develop relationships with people that, I mean, there are people that I've known for years and years that this is where I see them. And it's, it's just a nice way to spend my time.
Yeah. So I think the side benefit of volunteering is always you belong to a community of people who volunteer, and you do get connected to them missionally in a way you wouldn't otherwise. David, how about you? You've done this for a long time. What's it mean to you to be able to do this?
Yeah, I think it's, it's really an important feeling to get to be in there and work with people and see the benefit that we're bringing, see the smiles and, hear their stories. And even in our setting where we are now outside, with our masks and being socially distant, we still hear, all the different stories about how important the food is to them, and they are truly grateful. And, and that just, is a blessing to me to see that on a simple level. I always say, I don't care, who you are or where you're from. If you're hungry, then, food is what you need.
Yeah.
And we're doing what they need.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
That is outstanding.
That's incredible. Bruce, how about you?
Well, it's maybe providing people an assurance that no matter what else is going on in the world, we're still there. As long as the Lord will have us there, we will still be there. And for those of us like me who are there on a Saturday, we're just at the last link in the chain of people who make this happen. From those who give money, those who donate items, those who bring items over there to Crossroads, those who package to them. We're just the last link in the chain, but we're still all there every Saturday And we just hope that that we're providing them a sense of hope that is that we're always going to be there with them if we can. And so we've been able to do that. So that's been pretty gratifying. And also knowing all of those people who are behind us, so to speak, making it possible for us to be there to see those clients every Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Neil, did I ask you or did I skip you?
I spoke first. So.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I mean, I think it's awesome for Rachel, for Greg, for me, you know, serving a church, it's easy when you have great people. And so for us, it's gratifying, of course, but, you know, it's a blessing. Spend Yourself has been an incredible blessing to us. And I think God will only continue to bless it in the future. And Neil and Rachel, you've been involved for a long time too. And Greg, thanks for all you've done. Rachel, thanks for all you're doing.
Pleasure.
These staff do, they love doing it. They do it well. And for you volunteers, you people who just give your time for nothing, it means the world to us. I just got to tell, well, I wouldn't say for nothing, but it's not like you ever get paid. It means a lot to us. So Spend Yourself has been a shining light in this time. And Greg, if people want to get involved.
Well, one great way they can get involved is at our Spend Yourself race. This year it's virtual. Go online, look at the flashpoint. All the information is there. You can email Rachel if you've got questions. You can fundraise. You can get your T-shirt. You can run on that day, November 21 at 9 o'clock. Or if you live in Zambia, you can run at a different time.
And it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So it has to work virtually, right?
Yes.
And you guys can still always use more volunteers for the food pantry, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of delivery systems. So call Rachel. She'll plug you in. And
we need food. There are more drive-in drops. We still need food. All right. So I don't want to leave people out here. We got to get off the air because we are late. And so I'm going to show this because people have been constantly responding to this poll. The highest number of families we served in a week this year, 174, 256, 312, 401, 412. Nobody said 412, Greg.
It is C.
It's
letter
C.
312.
312 families.
And we were at 295 a couple of other days too.
And that's kind of getting close to our average, right?
Average is 225, which is right now 225, but even that is higher than normal for this time of year.
All right, friends, we got to get off. So thank you so much for being with us on Soul Cafe. And thanks to all of you for all you do. God bless you. Miss all of you. And we miss you, Columbia. Hope to see you soon. Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.